Conservative new media viewers and Jeremy Lin fans around the world, what's going on? We're here to go over Houston's 114-108 loss tonight to the defending world champion Miami Heat in Miami, Florida. With the loss, Houston drops to 27-24 on the season. Miami improves to 32-14 on the season, and the Heat have won 3 games in a row. Now, just looking at the standings after this game, Houston is now 3 games up on the Los Angeles Lakers. However, for the 8th and final playoff spot in the West, although the Portland Trail Blazers are currently between Houston and the Lakers. So the Lakers would have to jump over Portland in order to get closer to Houston. However, Lakers got bad news today because their starting center / power forward Pau Gasol injured his foot in yesterday's game against the Brooklyn Nets. And I guess Pau Gasol has a partially torn plantar fascia in the foot, and he is expected to be out at least 6 weeks. I told you guys last night that the Lakers were playing really well, and they have been playing really well. They've won 6 out of 7 games, and a lot of that had to do with Pau Gasol. And this is a big loss for them, particularly because the status of Dwight Howard is unknown. Dwight Howard has a partially torn labrum of the shoulder, which is basically a body part that helps hold the shoulder in its socket. And so it's not known when or how much or how well Dwight's going to play with that injury. He's missed, I believe, 2 games in a row currently with the injury. And he's had to sit out earlier in the season with the same injury. So it's not good. It's never good when you lose. Although, you are playing the defending champions in their backyard, and you're on a back-to-back, and they're rested. But from the perspective of a competition sense with the Lakers got weaker today because of the loss of Pau Gasol. Now, he might come back in 6 weeks and be just fine. We'll see. He might not. But it takes a little bit of the pressure off of Houston, I guess, in terms of keeping their playoff spot. Now, they still have to win, but it's going to get harder now for the Lakers to win. And so we'll see what happens with that. Okay, what happened in this game, this was a close game through a lot of it. Although there was one point in the game, I think, in the second and third quarters where Miami was up a lot. They were up by like 17 points, but most of the game was pretty close. Early in the game, Houston was controlling things, and they were getting the pace that they wanted to get. They were playing at a speed that Miami didn't want to play at. Even though Miami's athletic, they didn't want to play at that pace. But then what happened late in the second and in the third quarters was that Miami cranked up its defense. And it's just, they're so talented athletically, and their defense is so good. I mean, it just really made things difficult for Houston to get points. But then later in the third quarter and into the fourth quarter, Houston was able to find its groove again. And they had a real chance in this game. And they were only down like 3 points or 2 points pretty late in this game. And a lot of it was due to James Harden, Beard. There was definitely Beardsanity tonight. He played phenomenally well. He had 36 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists. His efficiency number was 47, which is incredible. I mean, that's like off the charts. But they just couldn't quite get it done. And I'm not particularly upset. It's just Miami's the champions. And they just know how to get points and get stops on defense when they need to. And they just were able to hold off Houston just enough to get this win. But look, Houston put a lot of effort out in this game. They played hard. They could have just kind of decided not to put out maximum effort after the game last night, but they didn't. They really put it all out there, and that was good to see. Dwayne Wade also played very well in this game. Chris Bosh, the other member of the Miami Big Three, did not play in this game because I guess he was sick, like flu-like symptoms. Also, Carlos Delfino, again, did not play for Houston. I believe he's still suffering with an elbow injury. Jeremy struggled in this game. We'll talk about that a little bit. But, coming into this game, 3 of the last 4 games have been Linsanity 2.0 games. So you're not going to get it every single night right now. Not in this offense and not at Jeremy's skill level. So I'm not, I'm not concerned about it. It's a lot more fun when he plays like he did last night, but it's not going to happen every night. It's not going to happen on, sometimes on back-to-back nights, etc. Okay, let's talk about Jeremy's night. 13 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. He played 32 minutes. He shot 3 of 10 from the field. He hit 1 out of 2 three-point attempts, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 turnovers. I did not see his plus-minus number. It wasn't that good, but I didn't see it in the box score. And his efficiency number was 10 for the night, which isn't that great. He did better in the second half as compared to the first half. If you watched Linsanity 1.0 last year, and you remember when the Knicks played Miami, and they really went out of their way to shut down Jeremy. Now, Houston played Miami earlier this year, and they didn't do that. I mean, they weren't, that game with the Knicks and Miami, they really, really went out of their way to try to make Jeremy look bad. That didn't happen earlier this year between Houston and Miami, and it didn't happen tonight. On the other hand, Miami, their defensive strategy in general is they tend to put a lot of pressure on the opposing team's point guard. That's just part of their overall team defense strategy. If you watch the Heat play the Lakers earlier this season, they really worked over Steve Nash. I mean, just bottled him up. And so Jeremy got a lot of that same treatment tonight. Not because they were going out of their way to do it against him in particular, but because that's how Miami plays defense. And what that means is they will pressure you in the backcourt, meaning when you take the ball out of bounds and Jeremy's bringing the ball up, they'll have a guy on him, making him, think about his dribble. They didn't go too hard with that. When teams go really, really hard on that, they'll put 2 guys on the dribbler and make it even harder and make him pass. They did some of that, but it was kind of in between. It was what you would call light to medium pressure. It wasn't heavy pressure they were putting on in the backcourt, but it was there. Just enough to slow it down and make Jeremy think a little bit. And then on pick and rolls, what Miami does a lot is they double the pick and roll. And they'll really aggressively double. Again, they don't do it every single time. They mix it up. But it's a challenge to deal with that if you're a point guard, because they're athletic and they're quick. They can make you – it's just difficult to deal with. Their defense is so good. The only other defense in the league that's even close to theirs is Oklahoma City. And I mean, not statistically, I mean like when those 2 defenses go all out, they're the 2 best defenses in the league. And in terms of the athletic ability and what they can do in terms of pressure. And they did a lot of that tonight. They did a lot of it. And, they definitely hurt Jeremy's game. But like I've said before, this is going to be the case some nights. Some teams will focus on taking Jeremy out of the game, whether they're focusing specifically on him or they just work to take the point guard out of the game. And that's what Miami did tonight. So Jeremy got extra attention, and it hurt his numbers. I'm not going to do a bunch of quarter by quarter. Honestly, there weren't that many great moments for Jeremy in this game. But I will say that his play of the game, in my opinion, was in the middle of the first quarter. He had another one of his little look-away passes like he had last night to Chandler Parsons for that layup. He drove from the right side of the court across the top of the lane to the left side of the court and did a really nice, I think it was a bounce pass. It was like a bounce pass to Omer Asik for a dunk. And he did, he made sure that it was clear he was a no-look pass like he did last night. His head totally moved to, not looking in Omer's direction. It was a great play. And once again, as I've said last night, it's good that Jeremy is finding Omer in spots where Omer can dunk instead of maybe miss an awkward-looking layup. So that's good. That was definitely good to see. I also will say that LeBron and Dwayne Wade both went up to Jeremy after the game, which is nice to see. And they were talking with Jeremy quick, and they were also talking with James Harden. So, look, those guys respect Jeremy. And again, if you watch the game, you notice that during the game they were running some of the, I believe, Mandarin or Chinese language ads, and that's in Miami. Jeremy is huge. I mean, Jeremy is enormous in what he represents and the fan base. You guys know that, all the people that are watching, in Singapore and Southeast Asia, and Malaysia, and the Philippines, and Hong Kong, all over the place there, in Taiwan, of course. All the players in the league understand how important Jeremy is. So a lot of people are going to treat him with respect, even if they didn't like him. But when you figure that Jeremy's just a good dude, I mean, most of these guys, they do like him. I mean, they like him, but they're going to treat him like they like him, even if they didn't like him, because they understand the amount of fan base and appeal that Jeremy has in Asia and how important that is. So, like I said, I noticed with I believe the Chinese language ad was running. I'm like, man, Jeremy's bringing revenue to every single team. I don't know if they're running those ads if Jeremy's not in the game. And this is on the road. I mean, this isn't even in Houston. This is in Miami. So the league and the players understand Jeremy Lin is a cash cow. He is a money maker. And that's why so many of us were so surprised that the Knicks let him go. It's like, are you kidding me? It's like throwing away a bank. That's, being funny about it, but, there's no other way to say it. I mean, that's what Jeremy Lin represents, as well as he's a solid player. He's a good player with a lot of upside, with a lot of potential. So I was just happy to see Lin being treated with respect by Wade and LeBron, particularly after what happened last year. The kind of the whole talk, and they were going to shut him down and blah 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 blah. And look, that's not very unusual. I mean, Miami was the best team in the league last year, and New York and Jeremy were getting all the attention. And so Miami wasn't happy about that. So that's why they wanted to shut Jeremy down. Like, hey, remember us? I understand that. Anybody that's competitive is going to be like that. And these guys are super competitive. So I understand it. Trying to think what else with Jeremy's game tonight. He had a little bit of trouble, I thought, in the first quarter or in the first half playing with pace. But again, it's a back-to-back night. That's why I don't think he played as much as he might have otherwise. Tony played well tonight, though. Tony Douglas, he played well. He played better than Jeremy did for a lot of this game. So Mikal was giving him more run, but I thought that there were times where Jeremy wasn't playing with as much pace as Mikal would like. And like I said, part of that was Miami's defense, just making it difficult, just making it challenging to be able to get into an offensive rhythm. All right, this is going to be a relatively short video. But just like I said, there's not a tremendous amount positive to say about what Jeremy did tonight, although he did make 1 out of 2 3-pointers, which is going to help his average. Somebody posted on ClutchFans.com yesterday. He's now over 30% on three-point attempts for the year. That's great. You guys know I did a video a while ago saying he was the only guard that I saw among the top 20 guards that wasn't at 30%, and now he's fixed that. You can see how much he's improving this year. He's fixed his dribble. I mean, there's no comparison to what his dribble was earlier in the year and where it is now. It's not perfect, as you saw in this game tonight, but it's so much better. Now he's fixing his three-pointer some. And again, the majority of the changes on his shot, on his shooting motion, are going to happen in the summer. You do not mess with your shot during the year. You don't want to do that. It's not something you can do a lot during the year. It's something that's better done in the off season, because if you make changes and you can be off on your shot for games at a time, and you don't want that to happen. But obviously, he still is shooting better, whatever he's doing, whatever little tweaks or adjustments he's making. So again, he just keeps improving. I mean, he just continues to improve, although there will be nights like tonight that are kind of difficult. Okay, the summary here is it's a tough loss, but it's understandable. Again, you're at Miami on a back-to-back. The team showed a lot of heart, a lot of fight. That's good to see. Look, I know a lot of people say different things about James Harden, but James Harden is a competitor. He's extremely good, and this is why he's on the team. This is why he's a number one option, because of nights like tonight. He can do this, and he wants to do it, and he knows he can do it, and so it's good. I mean, it's great. And as we said, last night's game was a good example of what is going to be happening when Jeremy's doing well and James plays reasonably well. James didn't have his best game yesterday against Golden State, but he still did all right. He still did okay. And that's what it's going to look like a lot of nights. Tonight was more James and less Jeremy, but that's okay. The other thing I'll mention about Jeremy real quick in this game was that he did get 6 free throw attempts. That's very good. And he hit all of them, which is why I was able to get 13 points, even though he shot 3 out of 10. As I mentioned before, during Linsanity 1.0, Jeremy averaged about 7 free throw attempts a game. This year, he's been averaging about 3 free throw attempts a game. So seeing that number tick up a little bit, that's a good sign also from tonight's game. Still, even with tonight, not Linsanity 2.0, he still had it 3 of the last 5 games, which is quite good. The next game is a very important game. It is against the Portland Trail Blazers on this upcoming Friday or Saturday afternoon if you're in Asia, February 8th or February 9th in Asia. As I mentioned earlier, Houston is right ahead of Portland. Houston's number 8 in the West, Portland's number 9. That game is in Houston. They need to win that game. If Houston wants to get in the playoffs, that's a game they need to win. I think they have a very good chance of winning it, but it is going to be an important game. That is a more important game than tonight's game because that's a more winnable game, I think. And I'm really hoping that we'll see the best from the Rockets like we saw last night. Okay, now a couple comments and answers to questions. Soul Glow, you asked me in the last comment section about elite teams versus non-elite. The way that I classify elite teams, I consider elite teams to be teams that have a realistic shot at the NBA championship, like the absolute upper tier teams. The teams that I consider elite right now this year are San Antonio, Oklahoma City, the Los Angeles Clippers, the Miami Heat, and maybe the Knicks. Maybe. If everything's going right for the Knicks, they can be an elite team. Do I think they're going to beat Miami? Probably not. But they're right on the borderline. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 or 5 teams that I think that are elite. Memphis, I thought was elite until they got rid of Rudy Gay. And now I don't think they're elite anymore. I don't think they're a realistic championship contender at this point. In fact, Denver has overtaken both Golden State and Memphis in the standings. Denver is now the 4th seed in the Western Conference after tonight's games, which is incredible. Golden State, I think, is kind of on the next level down from elite. They're like a very good team, but I don't consider them an elite team. They're not going to win the title this year. They don't have a realistic shot of winning the title this year. So they're like a second-tier team, but not a first-tier team. That's kind of the way that I look at it. Although they will be a lot better with Andrew Bogut. They played without center Andrew Bogut for most of this year. He is going to, it's possible he could take them to the next level, but I don't think that's going to happen this year just because he's missed too much time and that the team hasn't had him around enough. Okay, I hope that answers the question. MR647, glad you like the push the haters back into the darkness line. That's right. We like pushing the haters back under the rocks that they crawl out of, back into the darkness. They will be out after tonight's game, but it's not unexpected, but it's not a really big issue either. Miami's going to give Jeremy problems just because of their defense is so good, but it's okay. The Golden State game, though, last night will keep the haters at bay for a considerable period of time. Yeah, they'll crawl out tonight a little bit, but all you have to do is mention last night's game, and then they'll crawl back under the rock and crawl back into the darkness. So we're definitely happy about that. I just want to give just a general shout out to everybody. I mean, like I said, I love interacting with the people in the comments. Don't always get a chance to answer everybody, to talk with everybody, but again, I read all the comments, and certainly we're thankful for you guys watching the videos and leaving the comments. It's good to interact and talk about it. It's fun. I mean, that's what it's all about. But just give a quick shout out to just some various people: P. Chung, Miss Proof, Miss TC 007, Linamos, Anya J from Taiwan, Justin Fuller, Giorni Venabato, Riza in Hong Kong, Michelle Desquitado in Taiwan, JJ Jose. Those are just some of the people. I mean, again, just talking to some people there and just acknowledging them. And I'm sure I forgot a whole bunch of other people, and just try to mention them in the futures as soon as I can or whenever I can. That's it. That's it for tonight. Again, it's too bad they lost. They did have a chance to win. I didn't expect them to win. So I'm okay with it. Jeremy was average tonight. He didn't have a great night, but he'll be fine. As I said, I mean, we're well past the over the hump stage or any of that stuff. He's beyond that. Hopefully he'll be ready for the showdown with Portland, and I'm sure he and the team will be ready for that. So I'm really looking forward to that and how things are going to go. The best thing about the Heat, in my opinion, is that Houston doesn't have to play them again this year. So, that's good. They're not in the Western Conference. We're done with them for this year. Awesome. Okay, your comments below. Thumbs up, thumbs down in this video. We'll give you all the information in the video description below the video player. Game highlights, game stories, box score of the game. Also, how you can come and join the Conservative New Media Facebook group, which has over 2,000 members and counting. Love to have you come stop by there as well. I am Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 Jeremy Lin YouTube fan channel. Hope everybody's having a great night. It is 11:15 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States on Wednesday, February 6th, which means it's about a little after noon on the Thursday the 7th. I can't remember my dates. Thursday the 7th in Taipei, Taiwan right now. Everybody have a good night, good day, wherever you are, whenever you watch this video. We will talk to you again soon. Go J-Lin. Go Rockets.